What is up? We are back with the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Travis Mangone. Travis, pretty wild week there in the National Basketball Association. Of course, the two great games between the Pelicans and the Suns, and then we had more fun NBA action last night. I was a little disappointed. First time in over 7 days, the RPB tags didn't end up with a winning record. I was 2-2 last night, gave away a little juice, but we got 3 RPB tags fired up today, and we're going to talk through this whole slate. Maybe we can find some more winners just talking through it. So what have you thought about what's been going on in the association since the last time I've seen you, Travis?
Yeah, I mean, the association's been fun to watch. My Celtics last night, they took a not tough loss, but I was hoping they'd put up a little bit of a better fight. Clippers University looking good spread. I mean, that was something to talk about. I mean, obviously the NBA, like it's December, like, and things that are going on. Remember last year's spread, right? December, it was the panic mode button was being hit in Boston at this time.
We were trading Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, we were trading
Jaylen Brown trades.
He was being shipped off the town. And then they figured it out like late December, and then like they just got rolling. And then in January, I was like, this team could actually win a title. And they almost did. It was crazy. So lots of crazy stuff happening. I know the Lakers, they're trying every week. There's a new guy that's the new trade candidate. This week it's Evan Fournier. He's going to come and save the Lakers franchise. Who knows who it'll be next week?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in on Evan Fournier, but hey, even the Kings involved in some trade talks, right? Hearing we might be in for Nerlens Noel or Sadiq Bey. Why would they trade Sadiq Bey?
They don't like him, apparently. It seems like he's a very like up and down player. I'll admit I'm not a big Sadiq Bey guy. I won't.
Really, that's funny. I just think he fits on every team, especially he's just like a role player.
Yeah, it depends on how much you're paying him and everything. Sure, but
yeah. All right, cool.
I'm not trying to pay Sadiq Bey whenever his contract comes up. I'll say that.
I guess that's a good point, right? And he only has 2 years left as a cheapie. Maybe even 1. He's been here for a while.
I mean, he's not gonna get paid like nothing. You know what I mean? He's gonna get paid someone's gonna pay him something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we're overvaluing it a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not big for overpaying for players. I'd rather let them walk than mortgage my future. But I'm big on like not taking the risk and mortgaging your future for sure. And
the only time it's worth it is when you're really close to a title.
I agree. Yes, when you're
really close, you have to overpay. I was listening to Dunked On. They were talking about the same thing. They say if you're really close, you got to overpay and you just eat it at the end.
Well, there's one other way to do it. There's one other way you need to do it, spread. You do it when you are good examples of it, in my opinion, are, do you remember the Knicks when they went for Amari Stoudemire? This is a long time ago.
Yeah, and I hated that trade back then.
No, but like, here's the thing that was great about that move, right? They were in the basement for so long, right? Eventually, you just got to kind of get out. And this is what I said about the Sabonis trade, and you disagreed with me, but I said, yeah, Halliburton's better. We all agree, but like they're just trying to get out of this like basement they're in. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to get like, and kind of like what the Timberwolves did. The Timberwolves, they were just, when they got D-Russ and everything, they were just trying to get into the playoffs. Now that they're in the playoffs, they're happy. And then it turned into Rudy Gobert, right? Kind of like the Suns. Everyone laughed at the Chris Paul thing. Everyone was laughing about that thing when that happened, when he went to the Suns.
But I was too, yeah.
But what did that do? It got them out of the basement, man. They were in the basement for a while. And I don't disagree with it sometimes when it's like a team that's just been down there and like laughed at for so long and making a move. Like a team like OKC, they could certainly do that and really get themselves out of there if they kind of like reached for some kind of stud and brought him in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it could just help a lot, but that's just like if the Suns went for DeAndre Ayton, right? Or not the Suns, the Thunder, right? They just said, let's go grab DeAndre Ayton. People would probably laugh at that and say, you really just grabbed all those picks and did a lot of that stuff for DeAndre Ayton. But I do think if I said, hey, here's a starting 4 for you, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and DeAndre Ayton for the next 4 years. I mean, is that something you're interested in, Spread?
Yeah, for the most part. I don't know if Giddey and Shai work together, but I understand your point.
I mean, they'll figure it out. Giddey's very young, and I'm not saying that I'm not even a huge DeAndre Ayton guy, but the point I was getting at is he's not one of these like absolute studs that people are lining up for. Like people would take him, but and even like a Miles Turner, if you went out and grabbed like Miles Turner and Buddy Hield and threw them on the Thunder, I don't know, that'd be a sweet starting 5. So I guess I'm okay with these teams that have just been laughed at for so long, just kind of sometimes taking that shot and like trying to vault themselves up to the top.
Well, let's talk about a team that's been laughed at for a long time. The Sacramento Kings. They're in Philadelphia tonight taking on the 76ers. You know what? Hey, I mean, this isn't the best comparison, right? But two teams that kind of started good on the road, and you can see the effects of the road trip wearing on will be in the first game and the last game because the Celtics kind of in that same situation. Kings got off to a hot start, right? A couple nice wins there, especially one over the Cavaliers. Then they lost to the Knicks. That wasn't the best win. Now they're in Philadelphia taking on the 76ers. And, of course, you can't do an NBA rundown without pulling up Basketball Monster. So let's see what we've got here. De'Aaron Fox upgraded to questionable. He's missed the last two games with the foot injury. That should help the team out. Alex Len is out. That means absolutely nothing to bettors or daily fantasy players. Daniel House probable. Jaden Springer is in. Pretty clean injury report here for this game, Travis. What do you thought? I had a slight lean to the Sixers, not enough of an edge to bet. What did you think about this game?
Yeah, I am not dying to play these Kings like Davion Mitchell and the Terrence Davises and the Harrison Barnes. I don't want to play these guys. So, please, De'Aaron Fox, can you play today? I don't want to consider them. Joel Embiid is someone we should consider. I mean, listen, Domantas Sabonis, here's the one problem with him today. I don't think I can play him spread because the dude has trouble staying out of foul trouble. And you think he's going to stay out of foul trouble against Joel Embiid? I don't think so.
No, he's not. And that's the worst part about Embiid. He's become a terrible grifter. That Harden influence. It's Sixers are one of the toughest watches for a good team.
Yeah, I mean, it was spread we talked about. I'm not wagering on that team or against them or for them. I'm just staying away.
All right, that's fair. But we can't ignore him for DFS. Embiid, best spend up on the board, would you argue?
So it's a tough one. I don't know if he's the best spend up. He's very good. So here's the case to make, spread. This is where it gets interesting. So because you don't have Devin Booker in, right? DeAndre Ayton is going to be on a pile of teams. He's going to be on most of them. And that kind of soaks up the center spot where you only got one more spot to really roster centers if you play DeAndre Ayton. I'm mostly there, right? So Embiid's a really good spend, but you have other good spends too. What about Giannis against the Golden State Warriors that can't defend big men? That sounds like something I'm interested in. How about, let's say, who's the other one? Anthony Davis. Yes, Boston has been really good overall, but Robert Williams is questionable. I know there's a chance he could play.
Really? This soon?
I saw it up there. I mean, I doubt he does, but I saw it on Basketball Monster. So I was shocked too, but he has got the Q tag, so I figured I'd at least bring it up. But if Anthony Davis is going against Blake Griffin on the second night of a back-to-back, I think that's something I could be interested in too, right? I mean, center's loaded at the top. Three really good options that could be contrarian plays because everyone's going to be slamming DeAndre Ayton on their teams at his price tag. So I like Embiid spread. I think he's a good play, but I'm just calling out there's other good ones too. That's all. And that's going to naturally cut into all of their ownerships, right? You're going to get all three, I think, just cutting into each other. Kind of a good example yesterday was Ant Edwards, Jaylen Brown, and Paul George. All good forward spend ups, but you saw Ant Edwards at 8%. You saw Jaylen Brown at 12% and Paul George at 6%. And they just all cut into each other. So I think you could see that today also at the center position because a lot of ownership is going to be going to DeAndre Ayton. So, and maybe one guy kind of gets a little more ownership than the other. If it was one of them, it's likely going to be the guy that has the dual positionality in Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Golden State Warriors. So that would be likely the one that I think gains the most ownership if you had to pick because Embiid and Davis can only be rostered at that center spot. So that could keep those guys' ownerships down a bit. But in this game, it seems pretty simple to me. It's James Harden or Joel Embiid. And then I think I'm just staying away from the rest of these guys in these games. For being a 5-game slate spread, and you and I have talked on some really gross slates before in the past, this is actually a pretty good slate, and it's a star-studded slate, right? The stars are out tonight. You know what I mean? They're all hitting the club. Yeah. We got the guys. We got Embiid, Giannis, Harden, Curry. We got all the guys out tonight. So it's a big night in the NBA.
All right. So interesting there. And I know that you and Tyler are both sworn off betting Philadelphia games. And obviously, as a Kings fan, I'm already emotionally invested. Just look straight at the projections. Didn't find a huge edge. So let's just move on.
What is your edge? You said you did or didn't find one?
No, not a huge edge on this one. I had a better one on this next game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, 5-game slate. We got tons of games we can talk about.
Yeah, Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Golden State Warriors. Could be a finals preview. I know that sounds crazy with how well Boston's been playing, but we know how tough it is to keep up with an 82-game schedule here. And I think it's really right now, wouldn't you say it's a 2-horse race in the East? Yeah. Milwaukee has the best chance to beat Boston out of all the other teams.
Yeah,
right?
it's so early. Yeah, it's just like NBA Finals talk this in December is probably wrong, but yes.
But that's what we do when we're producing content.
True.
Potential NBA Finals preview.
No one is going to be shocked if we see Warriors Bucks in June, right?
Right.
No one is going to be surprised.
Well, actually, let's have some fun though. I know you say it's early, but which team do you think is more likely to make the finals between these two, the Bucks or the Warriors?
That is a good question because I mean the West is not great. I do feel pretty good about Boston, but then after Boston, what do you feel good about, right? I don't feel great about the Nets. Cleveland's cute and all. I bet them before the Mitchell trade happened to win the title just because I knew I could beat it. I saw the trade and I saw the odds and I said, I'm going to bet it and I can cash the ticket out and call it a day. The Sixers definitely are more. Yeah, man, now you got me looking at the West. Hold on. Let's go look at the West. I didn't know the Pelicans are the 1 seed right now. That's pretty shocking.
No, I did because we've been victory lapping that. That was like probably our hottest take on the preview shows. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I wasn't the originator there. That was all AP and Tyler, and I kind of just went along for the ride. Because
I mean, I like the Pelicans, but I didn't see them at the what. I guess I haven't looked at standings yet. So now you got me. You got me intrigued.
What is it? Pelicans 1, Suns 2 right now?
Memphis 2, Nuggets 3, Suns 4, Kings 5, Blazers 6. I don't know. Part of me, I just feel like the East is only like a 2 or 3-headed race. And I think it's more wide open in that West. So
how many of those teams that you just mentioned do you really think have a shot?
In the West?
Yeah. Like, do the Pelicans really have a shot?
I think the Pelicans have more of a shot than you think, but yeah. Okay. I thought they were interesting last year. I mean, obviously you could see like the growing pains in year one for them, like year one of making a push, right? Like that happens sometimes with young teams. I'm trying to see what teams have the experience. Like, for instance, I think the Clippers, the Suns, the Nuggets, you could argue the Grizzlies could make a run this year. Like this could be the year the run happens or they like kind of can finally get to there. Yeah, I think there's a lot of different options in the West. So I would say in the East, I think it's only like really a 3-headed race, at least on December 13th right now.
So wait, you're always are you putting the Sixers in there as one of the 3?
I am putting the Sixers in there.
Wow, because you're always on me for being overhyped on the Sixers, and I think I finally got off the wagon there.
I mean, they're live. They have Harden. They have guys. They're
Harden's not the same guy, and just the chances of Embiid actually being healthy in the playoffs.
Well, again, that yes, if Embiid's not healthy, yes, then yeah, they're dust. But I think they're live, but they're not as live as Boston and the Bucks. And it seems like it's just like I think the East will be a 2-headed race again, at least at this time. I think Cleveland could shock some people. Like if Cleveland's,
I almost think Cleveland's more live than Philly.
You think they are or not?
They are more live than Philly in my mind.
It might be. I mean, that Cleveland.
I mean, we still have trade season coming up too. You know,
I'll tell you this: Cleveland against the Sixers in a series. I might take Cleveland spread. I mean,
I would.
Cleveland's got a really good matchup against Embiid. You know what I mean? They can negate him enough. I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about tonight's game. The Milwaukee Bucks. It was 3.5. It's out to -4. I agree with this line move. Money coming in on the Bucks. It makes sense to me. We've talked about this Warriors team before. You know, hey, if you put home road splits in your model, they're going to hate the Warriors tonight, and that's how mine is turning out. Because let's be honest, this team is so much better at the Chase Center, especially this time of year. I was thinking about it so far. They've already basically full punted 3 games this year. They're actually 2-1 against the spread in those games, right? But I mean, this team is not worried about winning basketball games on December 13th. They're worried about winning basketball games on May 13th, right? And so this is all part of the process here. as this team kind of ramps up. Feels like the Bucks have a little more to prove. I know they feel like they missed an opportunity last season, and they've been on a tear so far to start the year, especially with Boston getting all this attention. I don't know if that helps or hurt this team, kind of flying under the radar. But I've always thought, if they team ever met in the finals, that the Bucks would be a tough matchup for the Warriors because of their ability to hit the glass. They're just going to seem so much bigger out there tonight, especially with Middleton back out in the lineup, right? I mean, they can just they could beat these guys, the Warriors, on the offensive glass. So that's where I think the huge edge is for the Bucks. The model likes the Bucks. I'm on Milwaukee. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I kind of think I'm with you on Milwaukee too. I'm not a big buyer in what the Warriors are doing right now. And I mean, of course, it's December 13th, right? They're coasting right now. They'll be fine once we get later in the season. But the Bucks, they are definitely going to be a team that's, they're going to be out there grinding. Like Giannis is always doing that, even in November.
Right.
My concern is like, what is up with Middleton, right? Like this injury. So he came back from injury, then he got hurt again. What do we think of him? Do we think I see he's probable? Are you feeling like he's good to go for this game spread?
I'm assuming he's going to be out there. I'm sorry, I didn't go over the injury report. Draymond Green probable. I expect him to play. Middleton probable. Expect him to play. My true concern here is Jrue Holiday at questionable.
Yeah, that's massive. If he does not play, that definitely makes you
the way this line is moving, though, and I don't know, it could just be people like me betting it early morning. I would expect Holiday to be out there too. This feels like it's going to be a bigger game for Milwaukee than it will for Golden State.
Agree. It does feel like that. So I'm with you. I would bet the Bucks side if I had to pick. Let's talk about the DFS side a little bit. So Giannis, we already discussed, but like great play. Like if you have the money to spend up for him, just go grab him. You're not going to argue against it. Let's talk about some of these other pieces because I think it's kind of fascinating. Chris Middleton's price tag is $6K. Like, that's a crazy price, man. Like, it's absolutely absurd. And it's in a game that we're not really worried about the Warriors defense right now. We expect a lot of points.
Really? Because it is a tough matchup because they can run Draymond and Wiggins at him.
It's totally fair. Yes, it's a tough matchup. I don't disagree. But spread, Chris Middleton is $6K. We've paid $8K for him. Like that's – I mean, look at these price tags. Like if you go on DraftKings, go to the utility spot and just sort and look at the guys that you get in that range. Now, to be fair, Chris Paul 6'2", DeAndre Ayton, what is his tag? I know he's dirt cheap. He's not dirt cheap, 7'2". Bridges is 6'1". So there are good guys in his range. CJ McCollum's another guy. Feels underpriced. But the point I'm still getting at is Chris Middleton is still $6K. Yes, there are other plays that are interesting, but you can play Chris Middleton at $6K, or you can play Kelly Olynyk at 5'9", right? Like, I mean, Brook Lopez is 5'8". Like, Malik Beasley is 5'7", and Chris Middleton is $6K. It's just a cheap price tag. So I wouldn't completely ignore him today. I think he's a good play. Jrue Holiday, I don't know if I want to pay his tag at $8K. I just think there's other options I'd rather play, so I think it's a little tough tag to pay there. I know Pat Connaughton's been playing a little bit. He's 3-4 to be able to help get some studs. I could see him as an option, but not someone I'm dying to get to. And on that Warriors side, Steph Curry's always in play. He can always nuke a slate at no ownership. So worth mentioning. Jordan Poole at 6'4", I think he could be a really good option. Someone that's popping up a little bit that I'm going to have some interest in. Klay Thompson at 6'8", I'm not as interested in. I think Poole is better than a better option. And Draymond Green at 6K, there's other guys in this range that I prefer. And I even probably prefer Chris Middleton over Draymond Green here in this spot. So for me on the Warriors side, it's really looking at Poole as a pretty solid option. And then Curry is maybe a contrarian spend up. And then on the Bucks side, Giannis, really good spend up option that I think, could get a little overlooked today. And then I do think Chris Middleton is interesting at 6K. And then I think Pat Connaughton is a good salary saver that you should be considering today.
What's Pat sitting at?
Pat Connaughton's 3-4. It's just what it could do for your full lineup, right? I mean, it's just, yes, there are better point per dollar plays on this slate, like the Suns guys that we'll get to. But I'm just saying, if you sometimes you look at 2v2s and you're like, Giannis and Pat Connaughton are like two mid-tier guys, and you're like, all right, give me Giannis and Pat Connaughton, and I'll just move on.
And I know you don't usually decide this that early, but I think that comes to an important question that you decided for tonight. Doesn't it feel like a Stars and Scrubs build was so high on the top But if I'm thinking that way, a lot of people are thinking that way. So do you just turn in and say, well, hey, now I can pivot with a balance build and get different from the field? How do you think that you'll have your main lineups tonight? Stars and scrubs or balanced?
I actually think you could see more balance spread. And the reason why you might see it is Chris Paul 6'2", 8'7" Bridges is 6'1". Now, Saric is 3'3", so he will be like a scrub player that looks like it will get popped into your teams a bunch. You got CJ McCollum is 6'8". That's another really good one in the mid tier. Like Jordan Poole at 6'4", I think is interesting. I think Malcolm Brogdon at 4'8" is not bad. Like, I just think there's a lot of guys that you can like pepper in this mid tier where like people might not go up for as many stars as you think. You know what I mean? Just because of how good the mid range is. When you can get a guy like Chris Paul at 6'2", like that feels like a star, right? But on this slate, it's not. You know, in the Kardashians, room that Chris Paul's a star, right? But he's not. Not a star on this slate. He's only 6.2K. So, it's one of those slates where, yes, you can make a case. There's a lot of good stars to spend on, but the mid tier just feels underpriced. And I think people are going to prioritize that more where, yes, you might have a team that has some of the mid-tier guys, goes a couple like scrubs and then grabs an Embiid or grabs a Giannis. Yeah, you might have teams like that here and there. But if you had to pick what's your priority, this mid-range or these studs, the priority is for sure making sure you get these mid-range options on your teams.
Interesting. Well, that's good to hear because I'll be honest. That's why I love doing the show with you. I was going to go stars and scrubs. So.
Well, again, you can totally play these stars. Like, I'm not saying they're not off the table, but as of right now, at what are we at? 12:25 Eastern, where Tyler's just waking up.
In my defense, I have written down on our schedule 2, and I thought maybe we were going at 1, but we jumped 2 hours earlier and went at noon.
Yeah, this is UPS spread's fault, but it's okay.
Yeah, and if this doesn't work, you guys can do it without me next week. This is only 2 more.
I just didn't know we were going at noon.
I thought I told you yesterday. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, I had no idea. I thought we were going at 2.
We're doing noon tomorrow too.
Okay. Yeah, I knew tomorrow.
I did announce it on the show yesterday. I did not know today. Yeah,
well,
and then you're gonna run the show on Thursday, Tyler. Without me.
I knew that.
Yeah. Okay.
But overall, I think you're gonna want to prioritize the balanced players. Doesn't mean it's a balanced build totally, but like I'm not making Embiid a priority first. I'm making Chris Paul a priority first. You know what I'm saying? Like it just makes too much sense.
All right, sounding like a Kardashian there. Tyler, let me catch up and get your thoughts here. The first game we talked about was the Kings and the Sixers. Travis said we're not betting that game.
Nope.
Are you going to break the rule tonight, or can we just skip it?
Nope. I broke the rule last time, and it didn't work because I thought they could just, he could double on Houston, and he couldn't even do that. So, no, we're not doing that.
Let's skip it. Okay, so we're on the Warriors-Bucks. Two of my favorite teams. They're facing off, right? This must be like when your kids have to play each other, right?
Got to be the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I'm on the Bucks. I took the Bucks. The playbook is done. I got the projections up in there. I threw in some tags. This was one of them. I really like the Bucks here. A little worried. I think Middleton's going to play. A little worried I could get screwed on that Jrue Holiday status. But we talked about it before, Tyler. We want to fade the Warriors, and now the Mavericks. They've joined that terrible road club. But I want to fade this team on the road against the Milwaukee team that I think will be a little bit more up for this game tonight. I also think they match up really well with their ability to hit the boards. I think the Warriors' size is going to be an issue here tonight. What's your breakdown of this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's the more I look at it, seeing Holiday on the injury report and Wiggins out, I mean, if Holiday misses the guards for the Warriors, I could see them keeping them in this game, but it should just be Giannis smash against his team. Like, he should just be able to eat up that front court.
I even think Lopez will have a nice game, right?
He should, but I thought he was in a perfect spot last game, and he really didn't do much. And I'm not sure if it's just when he plays these better teams, he just kind of gets phased out. Could be a spot, though, where Looney doesn't want to come out and guard him on the 3 line. So, yeah, I could see him in for a big game, but I think it's just you back Giannis here, and he just dominates his team. Like, let's see what a Giannis double and win is with this spread only being -4. It's plus 105, so I'll definitely be on that.
Really?
Yeah, Giannis to double and win.
It's so crazy that some nights like it'll take off like 12 points and be plus 104. Tonight it's only taking off 4 points, huh? Interesting. They must have a high just thing for the double-double on its own then. What other props were you looking at, Tyler?
That was the only one I had plugged in for that game.
Okay. Travis, anything more on the Bucks and the Warriors before we move on?
No, nothing else. I mean, I'm with spread like the Bucks side, and I mean DFS wise, we haven't dove into too many games that we're in love with, but yeah, we'll keep going. We got a 5-game slate.
Yeah, hey, it's a little more than usual there for us on a Tuesday there, Travis. Do you like
we're halfway through. We're halfway through. Tell these people to hit that like, right? We got people in here watching the show. You're here, making sure you're late to UPS. We got Tyler. He's out here waking up late, but he's not his fault. It's spread's fault. I'm out here doing back-to-back shows. I mean, I just did.
We got Mangone trying to find Tua's passes in the weeds over there.
Oh, that's the Dolphins are going to be fine. You are wrong about this.
Wait, you think they're going to be fine? Hold on. Let me switch the banner here real quick. We got to jump into this. We're talking touchdowns for the next couple minutes. How do you think the Dolphins are going to be fine? Your thoughts, Travis?
But like, what are you nervous about? Like, they're going to make the playoffs.
They're going to Buffalo. They're going to get smacked.
Yeah, they're playing Buffalo. Cool. Like, yeah, they're going to probably lose that game. Didn't they win the first game against Buffalo?
Yeah, at home.
Okay, so they split Buffalo. That's fine. We're talking about playoffs. We're talking playoff spread.
Yeah, and it's going to be freezing.
Well, it doesn't mean they're playing Buffalo in the playoffs yet. We don't know what their seed is.
Tyler, did you tell Travis that little nugget you had about their sideline yesterday? Tyler,
I heard it from Title on the.
Bro, they had heaters on the sideline. It was 55 degrees outside
in LA.
Yeah, they're probably going to lose on Saturday, but that's okay. They're in the playoffs basically.
Are they though?
They have a 75% chance of making the playoffs. Tyler, come on.
I know, but look at the schedule.
And so, what are you going to say when they get smacked?
It gets easy after that. It's literally a steamroll.
But does it get much easier, Mango? It's at Buffalo. Then they beat Green Bay, of course.
Yes.
Then they play at New England.
That's an easy one.
Is it?
Let's book that right now. Heads up. You want the Patriots?
He wants his money back.
You want the Patriots, Tyler? Right here, right now.
And then they finished the year against the Jets, which is a good defense.
Oh, the Jets. I'm not scared.
And where? Where's that game at?
It's in Miami.
Oh,
so they won't have to use. They might have to use heaters though. You never know.
Listen, the Jets are solid. Don't get me wrong, but like by then the Jets have to be like live to still get that spot. And on top of that, like you need them to lose that like Patriots game. Like if they go 2-1, they're gonna coast. They're fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, game's in New England. I don't think the Patriots are dogs.
Fred, would you like to make a wager with me straight up right now?
He wants that money.
Back in the bush, spread. Come on, you're not.
Yes, I will.
Oh, there we go. Okay, heads up. I have Miami. You have New England.
I started thinking, Travis. I'm a California kid, right? Yeah. Tyler would laugh. It's like 45 degrees outside, right? For Tyler, that's like nothing, right? He's wearing shorts. I am freezing right now.
Crazy spread. I wear a hoodie when it's like 60 degrees outside.
I agree on that. Like, I think it's going to be tough for them, but it's New England. New England's a way different animal than the Bills. I have a lot of faith that McDaniel can out-genius Patricia. I got a lot of faith in it.
But is he going to be able to do it against the big BB? The original big baller brand.
That game's going to mean a ton to that wild card spot too, because you have them at 8-5, which they'll be 8-6 after next week. The Patriots are 7-6, the Chargers are 7-6, and the Jets are 7-6, and they're all hanging around for that last.
And the Chargers are getting hot at the right time there.
No, they're not going to. They could steal a playoff spot, but they're not going to make any noise in there.
Yeah, but that's going to be rough for Miami. All right. Anything more on this one before we get back to the NBA?
No, we can go back to the NBA. I just had to get some Tua slander in there.
It's adorable, but they'll be fine.
It's cute and adorable. Wow. I get a lot of compliments.
They're going to make the playoffs. I mean, then we'll see. Whatever their matchup is, it could be. You never know.
All right. Well, we got a nice little one. We'll figure out the stakes here in a little bit. But all right, I've switched the banner. We're back to the NBA rundown. The game is the Phoenix Suns. They're -6 in Houston, taking on the Rockets. Travis, the big news here, right? STD time for the Kardashians. Devin Booker's out. Can you imagine what he's doing? He's probably got girls with the long lashes in the Starbucks just lined up right now. He won't be in the game tonight. How are you approaching this one, Travis?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the game of the slate if you had to pick, and it's not the game of the slate because like from a watching perspective, it's Phoenix.
I think it'll be fun. The Rockets are a fun watch.
Well, yeah, but like what I'm saying is like spread. Like if you sat down, and this is the example I always use. Spread, you sit down at the bar, right? And you go, and the bartender's like, "Oh, you want to watch a game?" They're like, "Yeah, you want to watch Warriors Bucks?" You're like, "Nah, I want to watch Rockets and Suns." Like they're like, "What?" Like you. Why do you want to watch Rockets and Suns?
That'd be sweet. Actually, I want to go to a bar.
There's the door.
Yeah. They're like imagine being the guy, right? Like you're sitting there watching the games, and like someone's like kind of like sweating Bucks and Warriors, and he goes to the bathroom. You're like, can you put Rockets and Suns on?
He comes back out. He's like, who did this?
Yeah. I'm wearing my Shen.
But like that's the game you're gonna want to watch if you're a DFS guy. Like it's the game. Like
I'm wearing my Şengün jersey. Let's go.
Hey, oh man, Sengun's my guy, so I'm down to get a Sengun jersey. He's awesome. So, but yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun one. The problem with like the Rockets, let's knock that out real quick. So we already talked about these really good spend up centers you can go to, and with like DeAndre Ayton kind of gonna be a plug and play. Sengun's gonna be tough for me to get to, I think today. And I think like KPJ and like Jalen Green, like all these guys cut into each other a little too much for my liking. Now their price tags are cheaper, so it's not bad. So if you want to take a chance on them, but I wouldn't want to like have two of these guys on my teams. I think that's like one of the problems people will run into. When it comes to the Phoenix side, though, this is the side that we're going to want to load up on. And like the reason why is Dario Saric at 3-3. I assume he's going to be a starter here. And if he's not a starter, it could be Damian Lee. And I believe this is a Damian Lee revenge game. Wouldn't you say, Spread?
Oh, yeah. Wait, when was he on the Rockets?
Yeah, that was a Warrior.
I think he was there. He had a cup of coffee once.
You would know what he had a 10-day contract.
He's there. I've been batting really good at these.
This is definitely going to be
no. He's never been a Rocket. That's on me. Okay, I whiffed one for once. Dang, who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of someone else.
Chris Paul revenge game, maybe.
I don't know. Well, yeah, it is a Chris.
He actually left there on acrimonious terms too, didn't he?
He
right?
did. No, that's
getting shipped out by the big beard. He's sitting there balling, and they're like, "No, we'd rather have the guy that loves strippers over you."
Yeah, I'm very
like at least you bang celebrities.
If anyone in the chat is thinking of like the jump shooter that I could be thinking of, that was like a kind of a clown on the Rockets. They're not a clown, but just like I don't know, maybe it's Ben McLemore. I don't know who I'm thinking of, but Damian Lee though, I think he's a good play. Regardless, so I think Damian Lee is going to be a good value you could play, and he could close the game too. He's one of those guys that could come off the bench and be that closer. So I like him as a value. I like Saric as a value. He obviously could be starting. Chris Paul's going to be a good play. And the other guys to discuss is Torrey Craig, Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton. I mean, DeAndre Ayton at 7.2K, that's a pretty good tag. He's going to be one of the more popular guys on this slate. He's got a projection around like 40, which is like kind of similar to Gobert yesterday, just to give you a perspective. He was 7.2K against the Blazers. Bridges at 6'1 is another guy I really like. And one reason I really like him is this is the game environment where Mikal Bridges smashes, right? Doesn't really have a real defensive assignment that matters as much, right? Like his job isn't to chase Steph Curry around for the night or one of these like really good players, right? He's not sitting there and following Ant Edwards. He's following KPJ and Jalen Green. Not as big of a deal. So I think Mikal Bridges, you're going to see him offensively do well because it's an up and down game where it gets really sloppy. And you talk about how the Rockets are fun to watch. Well, they're fun to watch because we're just watching guys just chuck up shots, Spread. And they make a lot of their shots too to make the game competitive. But there's no one to protect the rim on a guy like Mikal Bridges. I just think this could be the like 40 DK point Mikal Bridges game where he just pops off or even gets our 50 DK points. So really like him in this spot, like Chris Paul, obviously, as well. And then try to see if there's any other interesting values we can play. It's not a 3-game slate where you have to kind of create our own values and get a little different. But I think those are the main guys we want to key in on. It's like that core 6 that I kind of talked about. And you want to make some matchups throughout your lineups. And one of the questions today, Spread, will be how many Suns or too many Suns, Spread. I think 5 will be too many. I don't hate the idea of 4. I think my number will likely be sitting in that 4 to 3 range. But again, it's early. It's 12:37 Eastern. That could change if we gain some more interesting value plays. But my number of Suns right now I'm looking to play is probably 3 or 4. And the lean is probably 3 if I had to pick, just because I think most teams are going to go the 4. And you can also find creative ways to do it. Like let's say you play Dario Saric and a Damian Lee together. How many people are going to play them? Because then that forces you to like maybe only play 2 of the 3 of Chris Paul, Ayton, and Bridges. So just trying to look at the different combinations and try to find out how to make them different. Like if you do play 4 Suns, if you faded DeAndre Ayton, like that would obviously make it different right away. So I like to try to look for those different ways to kind of build out my team sometimes.
Tyler, I know what you're going to say, but you know what I'm going to say? Superstar subtraction. I'm liking this Phoenix team tonight. What do you think?
Before we get to that, I just want to touch on one thing. When Mangone was breaking that down, he was talking about Mikal Bridges' defensive assignments. He said he doesn't have to chase around these key guys. He said Curry. There was one name in there that I don't think I should have been plugged in with those guys. He said Ant Edwards. Ant Edwards got the same averages as Jalen Green this year. You cannot sit here and tell me he's that much better of a player than him. Neither guy plays defense.
Ant Edwards is a much better player than Jalen Green. Come on, Tyler.
Wait, what?
I don't think so.
In what way?
I do not think so.
You think it's the same spread, really?
Okay, first of all, he's way better at interviews. We'll give him that. And I would say he's better at defense. But right now, when it comes to scoring, I would say they're pretty close.
Guys, he plays in the Rockets. Like they just don't play defense, and he shoots every shot. And Edwards is stuck playing with like D. Russ. He's stuck playing with all these usage guys, and he has no.
KPJ's a usage guy.
Yeah, KPJ wants.
You put in Edwards on the Rockets, and he's smashing. Like he's literally smashing.
I think Green. I think you replace him. I think they do the same exact things.
Yeah, I'm actually with Tyler here. I think they're pretty close to the same player. As much as I love Ant, I mean,
totally disagree.
So Josh Gillam's with you.
Yeah, Josh is with me.
This will be our new thing spread. First it was SGA versus Ja. Now we'll have the
Ant versus Jalen Green.
Yeah. I mean, every good big comes to an end, and I mean, it's just this may have jumped the shark. I don't know about this one.
All right, we'll see. We're gonna ask everyone this week, Travis, and we'll get back to you on.
Yeah, please. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely biased. I love Ant, but I feel very confident.
I personally like Ant more too. Like I'm rooting for him. I was actually just disappointed, like on those previews, right? The ones where we're touting the Pelicans. I'm sitting here going, Ant's going to be an MVP candidate. He's going to be a top 5 player, and he's still good, but he hasn't made the improvements that I was.
Well, it's hard when they play with one basketball. Right. And you play with D'Angelo Russell, who just chucks up a bunch of shots. You play with Rudy Gobert, who pounds and packs the paint. So it gives no spacing for Ant Edwards. You play with Karl Anthony Towns. Like it's hard. There's not a lot of room for it.
Well, Towns has been gone. How much has Ant gone up since Towns is gone?
He's crushed.
Okay.
He's 9.4K in DFS for a reason.
And yes, Josh, SGA is better than Ja. All right. Go
ahead. I'm kind of with you guys on that one.
Continue the preview and remind me so we can continue to ask people this week.
Yeah, I got you. But as for this game, though, let's see. What do our projections put out spread?
I have the Suns by. Let me pull it up. I think it was 8.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Suns by 8. I'm gonna roll with the Suns here, just because, like you said, first thought, I want to go give me the Rockets because we have no Devin Booker here. But then you look at it, it's like the Suns have lost a couple games. They got blown out by Boston. The Pelicans have just been up their ass the last couple times they played. This is the perfect spot for them to finally bounce back. I like Travis's call on Bridges. He could have a huge game here. CP3 could just run the offense. There's not going to be a crazy defender chasing him around, tiring him out either. So, yeah, give me Phoenix here. I think they win this game pretty easily.
Yeah, that's 3 straight losses for the Suns, right?
Yep. You got to think this is the spot where they just come in, they lock in. Even without Booker, they play a solid game and win this one.
What is DeAndre Ayton's points prop today? I actually might like that.
20.5.
20?
Yeah.
That's it?
You think that's? I thought that was high. He's usually like, what is the average for the year? Like 17?
He's playing the Rockets, though.
And you could do the performance double, him to score 20, and they win plus 150.
Sorry, say it again.
His performance double is 20 points, and they win the game plus 150. And they also have a 25 plus point one, and they win plus 300.
I'm not as confident in that 25.
The 25, it's only 5 points, but when it's a big man, it seems
when it's a big man, it matters. Yeah, it's not. It's a little different. So you said what's his point prop? I would just bet the 20.5. Like,
yeah, it's
normal.
just 20.5. So you just need 21 points out of him.
Yeah, I mean the performance double is nice though. Because
you could probably find that number at 19.5 in other books too, because FanDuel's hanging at 20.5, and it's even money, which makes me think DraftKings might have like a 19.5 at -115.
Yeah. Oh no, I like it. I think Ayton can do whatever he wants against this defense.
Yeah, I agree there. It's just if he goes into like his little shell mode where he doesn't want to do anything, which I don't think he does here.
And let's be honest, the Rockets perimeter isn't that good either, and the guards are just cooking, so there's no reason to throw it inside because, right, Chris Paul's like 11 from 14 from the field. Bridges is like 7 of 8, and they're like, hey, this is working.
Yeah, no, I mean, that could be the route too for sure, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if the shots miss, though, I'll tell you that it's going back in. It's just tossed in. Just
our guy in the chat, Justin Sports, says Jalen still has to prove he's still even worth a number 2 pick. The dude who was picked ahead of him ain't even playing right now and is out for the rest of the year. That guy needs to prove he's a number 1 pick, let alone Jalen prove he's the number 2.
And to be fair, the NBA's history of number 2 picks is not good.
Jalen's had like 12 30-point games already.
What does he have to do? Live up to the great
everybody
status
else
that
in
Marvin
that draft
Bagley
has
created?
like, if you combine everybody else in that draft, they have like 8 combined 30-point games. Yeah. I think he was worth the first pick, let alone the second pick.
I mean, like, what does he have to do? Live up to that great legacy that James Wiseman's made for number 2 picks? I mean, other than KD, who's a good number 2 pick in history? Number 2 is terrible to get.
Ann Edwards. Was he 2 or 3?
He was number 1.
He was 1.
It went Edwards, Wiseman,
and
LaMelo.
Everybody in their
LaMelo was 2,
year,
right?
He was 3.
Who was
3 that year? Wiseman went 2.
Oh, Everyone and their mother wanted LaMelo to go 1 that year.
Yeah, because LaMelo should have went to the Warriors, and it made no sense. It's like, what are you doing? I'm sorry.
Who's better, LaMelo or Jordan Poole?
I mean, one guy's never available, so let's go with Jordan Poole.
All right.
Yeah, we're going that route where one guy's hurt and one guy's in. You got to take Poole. But
I'm just being honest.
If you turn the injury thing off and they just played, give me LaMelo.
Sure, but like you can't turn that thing off.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't exist. So at some point, someone has shown me and Curry was at that point at one point in his career early on where people were like,
yeah, remember he kept spraining his ankles?
And that injury basically is what built the dynasty because they were able to re-sign him for cheap and he wasn't a max player right off the bat.
Yeah. Now listen, I like LaMelo. He's talented, but can the guy play? Like, is he going to be out there dribbling the basketball? Because he's dribbled the ball basically as much as I have this year. I mean, not the same, but you get what I mean.
I mean, outside of this beginning of the year, has his health really been a problem though?
I mean, it was last year.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he was in high school with his health, but like, it's just, again, it's what I've seen so far, and it's something to be concerned about.
And you see his brother's knee is already given out. So
yeah, I mean, that's the other problem. Like Lonzo's been hurt a bunch and like everyone just assumes he's going to come back and be himself and he might not. Like sometimes they just don't. Everyone sometimes assumes like, oh, this guy's going to come back and be himself. And then when they don't, they're like, okay, well, this is bad. Like it's the truth.
All right. Anything more on the Suns and the Rockets?
Oh, I think that's pretty much it for that game for me.
Let's talk about the Jazz and the Pelicans. Pelicans, number 1 seed in the West right now, Tyler. Look at you. We can't victory lap because it's only December, but I love it when we do those previews and we're just knocking it out of the park. They face an interesting test tonight against the Jazz, a team that's really, exceeded expectations, but are they really that good or we just think they're going to be terrible? Here's an important thing, though, for this Jazz tonight. Mike Conley and Lauri Markkanen, Jordan Clarkson, all back tonight, should help the team. Colin Sexton's still out. Okay, whatever. Brandon Ingram's out, and Herb Jones is probable, a big addition for New Orleans. So both teams getting healthy right before this matchup. Tyler, start with you. Are you going to take your team in Utah?
You're goddamn right I'm taking my team in Utah because who the hell's stopping the big guy in the paint spread? Lauri Markkanen, that big stone oaf. Walker Kessler, who everyone
he's not a stone oaf.
He's not all that good. Everyone loved him at the beginning of the year.
Good.
I don't see him playing that much anymore.
Yeah.
He ain't
you put that dude in the pick and roll, and he's flat-footed.
What center isn't going to be flat-footed?
Yeah, but that dude's definitely lost in the pick and roll.
Yeah, that dude's as flat-footed as you can get.
Yeah,
I mean, it's what the Jazz do.
But how are you going to stop Zion tonight then? Like, who's going to be your guy?
You're not.
Exactly.
You have to outscore him.
We the people pick in the chat. I love it. The double and win because he's just going to absolutely maul this team. You're getting that at plus 370 too, which are great odds. Yeah,
that's
great odds in this spot.
I like that one way more than the Ayton thing.
Yeah, definitely like that. I like CJ to score 20 here in New Orleans when also still no Brandon Ingram. CJ is going to be the number 2 here. You see their guard spots. Conley is back. He's not the best defender anymore as he's gotten old. It's Clarkson. Sexton's out. I think he can get to 20 in this matchup. So like that also, and you're getting that at plus 215. And as for the side, if you can't get those performance doubles, I do like the Pelicans here. I think they come in, they handle this team. And Herb Jones is also back. That's a great defender on the perimeter. If one of these guys gets hot for the Jazz,
he's really
he'll
big
be
for
all
that
over
team.
them. Yep.
He's really big for that team. We the people's going to hate it, but he's a great defender.
Travis,
one of the best ones.
We the people going to hate that?
He hates when I talk about defense. He thinks it doesn't matter.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And since I wasn't here for that, we got to break down the Kings game. Yeah. Travis, we had those fun 6-man of the year bets earlier we talked about.
Yeah.
We took Malik Monk at 90-1. He's down to 24-1.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and then just one other thing, too. We didn't talk about defensive player of the year much. I don't know what his odds are. Let me pull them up real quick. But if this Pelicans team hangs around at first and they just do what they're doing here, he could easily win this award and fall right into the Marcus Smart category of last year where the team's cruising. They want to give this team some kind of award. They can't win MVP with nobody on this team. They'll look around and be like, Herb Jones could win defensive player of the year, though. So they could easily go to him here. His odds right now are 100-1. I think that's worth $10-15.
Yeah, I can't.
With them being the 1 seed, he could easily work his way up there, and that would be the award this team would be given at the end of the year, similar to Boston last year. So I don't hate sprinkling on that. And you've seen Smart closing in at the end of last year. His odds were ridiculous, like a week out, and then all of a sudden he was in the top 3 odds, and he ended up winning it. So definitely going to sprinkle on that.
Travis, what are your thoughts on this game? Fully healthy, does that mean less interest from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, I mean, this Jazz team is definitely like kind of spiraling. And I kind of said that I thought they'd be fine, but like Conley then got hurt, and then it just all went to be a disaster. So that's the big issue that they've been having. Lauri Markkanen is 7'9". I will call out that Lauri Markkanen does at least chuck. And if he is going to play, he's worth considering. I wouldn't ignore him completely. Clarkson, Beasley is 5'7". That's a little bit of an elevated tag. And some of these guys are elevated because of Markkanen being out. So that kind of concerns me a bit. I don't really want to play Kelly Olynyk at the center position. I think there's other spots that I could take advantage of. So really, if I do anything on the Utah side, it's Lauri Markkanen as a spend. And that's it. Zion at 9.5 feels like an expensive tag. There's a lot of stars tonight, but he certainly could get the job done for you tonight. So I'm considering Zion as a tournament play, someone that I will likely look at as maybe a contrarian guy up top. I think it's a good night to look for contrarian stars up top. So he'll be someone that I look at as an option. Like CJ McCollum at 6.9K. I think this is a really good spot for him. It's just 6'9" is just too cheap for his amount of usage that he is seeing. So really do think he's a good option. Larry Nance has played really well. He is 4.4K, which listen, I'm not saying I love playing Larry Nance, but he's a good producer. You could make the case though, Herb Jones coming back could hurt him a bit in some of his minutes, but I do think Larry Nance at 4.4 is a good fantasy point per minute guy and can't get completely overlooked on this slate as a cheap option. So I'll put him in the conversation. So it's mainly those 3 on the Pelican side, CJ, Nance, and Zion. You can make a case for Valanciunas, but I don't know. The minutes are just rough, man. I struggle with that. I think on a slate where we're already looking to probably play DeAndre Ayton at your center spot, wasting it on Valanciunas just seems dumb. So I'm going to be out on him. It's really those 3 Pelicans and then maybe Lauri Markkanen on the Utah side. But I don't know. It might not be the best allocation of your salary today. And this is not an exciting game from a DFS perspective. It's mainly looking at some Pelicans options.
It's so funny. I think it's great from a betting perspective just because the teams are fully healthy, and that makes it kind of less attractive from a DFS. So sometimes the betting and the DFS go hand in hand. Not in this game. The Boston Celtics are -3.5, renewing the best rivalry of the 80s. Did defense matter in the 80s, we the people? Actually, probably not. It wasn't very good back then either. But let's be fair. Hey, even when I was a kid, they said, defense, yeah. They said everybody travels, everybody, they've been saying the same complaints. Old mans love to complain about the new NBA. But the storied rivalry continues tonight. Normally, this would be a Celtic smash spot. AP messaged us this morning, Tyler. He was interested and taking the Lakers here because he feels like the Celtics are kind of run out of gas here at the end of this road trip. They lose that tough game to the Warriors Saturday night. Then, in losing my best bet yesterday, they fall to the Clippers yesterday when I thought they would bounce back. Our guy, JC Zargo, give him credit. We were on the show yesterday. We went head-to-head to give him his props. He beat me there. He said, hey, the Clippers are a really good matchup because of all the wings they can throw at this team. Not that way with the Lakers, though. They don't have the same amount of wings here. But what they do have is a big man in Anthony Davis, who I don't see how the Celtics are going to match up with him tonight with Al Horford out. Now, the big wild card is Robert Williams being questionable. If he's back, do you think that slows down Davis? How are you approaching this one, Tyler?
The more I look at this game spread, it's the third game in 4 days. They go back home on Thursday after this game. We've done this before. This injury report's going to get longer by the time this game rolls around. I think one of these two main guys sits, if not both of them, and they just punt this game. I think they're just ready to go home off this West Coast trip. They'll get their wins back intact on Thursday when they play Orlando. They'll wipe the floor with them back in Boston. I'm with AP in this one. Give me the Lakers now while they're still an underdog. Because I think once these guys get rolled out, that's when all of a sudden the Lakers are favored here. I don't think the injury report's done.
Interesting. Tyler's been pretty good at predicting injuries so far, and of course that will change the state. Travis, what are your thoughts?
I don't think Jason Tatum's sitting in Staples Center. I'll tell you that. That's one thing. That dude loves to play.
It is an ESPN game.
Well, but we've seen it. It'll just be some random thing like Jaylen Brown will pop up with neck stiffness or something, and he'll be out. Or a non-COVID illness will pop up on this injury report.
Yeah, I know it's not Tatum. I'll tell you that. I don't think Tatum. I mean, if Tatum sits, I'd be shocked. Now, I don't know. This Celtics team, they definitely they feel like they have more fight in them than maybe you're giving them the credit. I don't think they're going to mail this one in. I think they're going to battle. Lakers, what would this line be? What would this line have been like 2-3 weeks ago spread? Like with the
-6.
That's what I was thinking. -5.5 or -6. I think it's a good buy low spot on the Celtics after what everyone saw last night. If you watched last night's game, Jaylen Brown was in foul trouble early. That was a big problem. Listen, Kawhi was in his bag. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the dude played like, I don't know. I think it was in 26 minutes. He was 10 for 12 with like 25 points. Like, he averaged like literally a point a minute. It was like stupid what he was doing out there. He was just crushing it. I mean, the rebounds, the assists, he was just having his way. So, I don't know. I think it's a good spot for the Celtics to kind of get right. People, yes, the Lakers have looked a lot better. I hope the Celtics haven't ran out of gas here. I am a Celtics fan, so, take that for what it's worth. I think I do a pretty good job of keeping bias out of it, but I think it's a pretty good spot here for the Celtics. Lakers, I'm not that excited about them. Think about that second unit of the Celtics versus the Lakers and, like, the wings. Like, you got Derek White shooting threes, Marcus Smart, all these guys. Like, with, like, these, like, clowns that can't cover anyone on the wings for the Lakers, I'm not that worried about it. I think they'll be perfectly fine. There is some concern of Anthony Davis just having his way inside, but threes are worth more than twos. I mean, I'll just say that. And I do not believe in this Lakers wing defense at all. So I think it's a good spot for these Celtics shooters who have been really great from the three-point line. I'm in on the Celtics. I think I'd take them at the 3.5 instead. But hey, we're on different sides. It's okay. If we're looking at the DFS side of it, Lakers, obviously, Anthony Davis, interesting spend-up option that you can't be ignoring here on this slate. LeBron at 9.8. It's a cheap tag on LeBron. He's got that forward eligibility instead of being at like a center spot like a Davis. I don't mind LeBron at 9.8. He's okay. There's other studs I think I prefer. Like if it's LeBron or Zion, I think I prefer Zion. But if you're playing a lot of lineups, you got to you can't just only play like two studs. We got to think about these different options. And I think he could be an intriguing one. Other than that, though, I'm not dying to play Lonnie Walker, Beverly, Austin Reeves. I'm good there. On that Boston side, though, I think you got to consider Jaylen Brown. The price is getting up there at 9.2, but I think he's in the conversation. Tatum at 11.1. I doubt I get there on Tatum just because I think there's other studs that I'd rather pay for. And I think that price savings for Jaylen Brown is just better. So I think if I played anyone, it'd be Jaylen Brown over Tatum from the studs perspective. When it comes to the cheapies, I think Malcolm Brogdon at 4.8 is a good price tag. DFS-wise, I think Marcus Smart at 5.9 is also another option that I would be considering. So those two options are pretty good for me when it comes from a DFS perspective. And if you're talking, just betting and how are they going to slow down Anthony Davis if Robert Williams doesn't play, they got the Joker, right? The man who can stop Batman himself, or the man that can stop Joker himself. Grant Williams. I don't know if Grant Williams can slow down Anthony Davis, but he says he can slow down Jokic, and he has in the past. Maybe Grant Williams somehow can slow down Anthony Davis. Spread, do you have any faith that Grant can do it?
No, not. That's the wrong Williams. I
know.
If Robert Williams comes back, do you this?
It's just fun to talk about because he's an idiot and called himself Batman against the Joker.
Did Jonathan Nelson? I see him in the chat. Did he watch? I hope he didn't watch Talking Touchdown.
Yeah, yesterday. I really hope he didn't tune into yesterday's show.
Robert Williams, first game back, Travis. Do you think that he can be good right off the bat defensively?
He won't play like an extreme amount of minutes, but like he'll be effective. He won't like not be effective in his minutes. He'll be, and that's if he plays. He might not even play. There's definitely a chance he doesn't. So we'll have to see. Especially, it makes more sense to like not do it on the road trip, right? And do it like once they come home. I wouldn't be shocked if they just do it then, especially after.
Man, I'm wondering if they can't be feeling any pressure, but I don't know. Boston's like a weird town. They probably are. Oh, you lost 2 games. The whole town's going to go crazy. Only thing worse is Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's Boston and Philadelphia sports radio. They go nuts about a lot of different things.
Philadelphia sports radio, now you can listen to it on the internet, like after an Eagles loss or after the 76ers was a playoff game, like I'll just tune into that. Now we have spaces, so
it's so good. Before I even started doing DFS stuff, kind of when I started, I had a job that I had to drive into every day, and I always listened to the Philadelphia sports talk radio because I would catch that because I was in like Central Jersey area, so I could get that station. And I laughed so hard listening to it. It was so fun. But speaking of laughing, Spread, we haven't laughed at Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's on a slate that I'm here to talk about. And don't play Russell Westbrook today. That's a bad idea. I know the Russell Westbrook stands will be upset, but I don't think it's a good Russell Westbrook slate.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Just one small kickback to that. Don't we usually hate playing him in spots where he can't get to the rim?
Yeah.
Who the hell's stopping him from getting to the rim tonight? There's no Al Horford, and they have no other big man.
They have good defenders that like can like prevent him from getting to the rim.
That's the thing is if they rotate well, then they kind of just screw him that way.
I don't know. One thing he's still got
his price isn't great too. His price is 6'7", while you got so many other good plays in that 6K range. Like that dude won't be owned, but I ain't playing him. And
I think that's a better argument, but I think he's still going to be able to get loose tonight. I just don't think the usage will be there, but. We can say what we want about him, but he's still got that burst. He can still get by people. I think not having the rim protection is important there.
Yeah, Westbrook got that burst like Dalvin Cook got that burst.
We don't talk about that.
Wow, we're slandering Vikings here. Unbelievable. Did you see the beginning of yesterday? I don't think Tyler ever heard me cuss so much.
Travis, if you don't watch that show, there were so many F-bombs dropped in the first 5 minutes of that show. It was bad.
Yeah, we were not happy about the Vikings ruining our teaser. Hey, before we give out the best bets, because I'm not I watch TV shows, not movies. Who's this J.K. Simmons he's talking about?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Unless Travis. I've seen the Spider-Man movies kind of recently.
Is he trying to call me Jonah Jameson?
Oh, he's the guy who he was in the Tobey Maguire one too. He's he talks bad about Spider-Man. He's the reporter guy.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that one out. All right, I'll have to check that out for you, Right Side Clyde. And you're going to have to watch a Fred Astaire movie for me. Neither Tidal or Tyler knew who Fred Astaire even was.
He's from the 60s.
Yeah,
he's even older than that.
I don't know who he is either, Spread.
You really don't know who Fred Astaire is?
No, I have no idea who Fred Astaire is.
Spread, we don't watch movies that don't have voices in them or that are in black and white.
Spread, I have a take that people don't love, but I'm 31 years old, okay, Spread? Yeah. If I haven't heard about the thing and it's from before the 90s, if you tell me about a movie from 1960.
So have you ever seen The Godfather?
Well, no, I've heard of The Godfather, Spread.
You've really never seen The Godfather?
No, I've seen it, but this is let me finish my take, Spread. Let me finish my take. If you tell me a movie, right? I don't know, Burger King 2 from 1960. Spread, I've never heard of that. I'm 31. That movie probably sucks. If I've heard of The Godfather, if Tyler's been yo, you heard of The Godfather? Yes, I have. I haven't seen it yet, but I should see it. I'm okay to watch a movie I've heard of, but if it's from before I was born and I've never heard of it at all, no one's ever.
If I suggest you one, will you watch it?
Well, what is it?
I want to suggest it's an old movie, The Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart.
That sounds like a movie I've never heard of, and I don't think I'm interested in it. The Maltese Falcon. What is it from the 60s?
All right, okay. That's what our bet is. If I
movie.
win, if the New England Patriots win, you have to watch the movie and talk about it on the show.
The Maltese Falcon?
Robert in the chat says Fred Astaire was born in 1899. Can you expect us to know him?
I mean, do you know who George Washington is?
Oh, I mean, I had to learn about him in school.
Was
Fred Astaire like building the country?
There's a chance Fred Astaire's grandfather was like signing the Declaration of Independence. Like, there's a chance.
He was one of the guys in the background. He was just standing
there's a chance.
All right, well, that's what I'm gonna want if you win the bet, Travis. You're gonna have to watch a movie of my choice.
All right, I'm gonna pick a really bad movie for you.
Have you ever heard of Casablanca?
Dude was dead before. Mango, what year were you born?
1990.
The dude was dead before we were even born yet. Spread.
I know, but I watched these movies. Unbelievable.
He was dead before.
He said he died in 1987. Yeah, how the fuck do you expect us to know him?
You heard of like Louis Armstrong? He was dead. He's got good music.
He was dead before.
Who was that spread? I don't know who that name was.
Louis Armstrong. You ever heard of Louis Armstrong?
Only Armstrong I know is Lance.
Unbelievable. Did I tell you one time Lance Armstrong came into the bar I worked at? He was a dick.
Well, I kind of figured that.
He was rude to everyone.
You ride a bike for a living. You got to be a douchebag.
I can't believe Spread is shocked you don't know someone who was dead before I was born. Like that's like me.
It's like American culture.
That's like me when I'm 60 talking to like a 5-year-old and being like, hey, listen, have you heard of like Mike Leach? Like, you know what I mean? He's like, no, I haven't heard of him. Like, you know what I mean? It's like time has passed. I love Mike Leach and Rip, R.I.P. man. He's like the man. But
have you heard of Newt Rockney?
No.
Wow. All right. On that note, it's time for the best bets, guys. We're here Monday through Friday giving you the best of sports gambling and daily fantasy information. Head on over to runpuresports.com. I can't believe you guys don't know Newt Rockney. Hit the thumbs up if you know Newt Rockney, and even if you don't, give us that thumbs up. Tyler, start with you. What's your best bet for today's side total or prop?
I'm gonna roll with the Suns. Give me them -6, and looking at these performance doubles, I don't hate the Chris Paul 12 plus points plus 110 and they win. 8 and double when they win at plus 135. The one Travis talked about is 20 plus points and they win at plus 150. Or even going the Mikal Bridges route, 18 plus points plus 150, 24 plus points plus 390, or 4 plus threes plus 500.
All right. One last question. You guys heard of Gale Sayers?
I have heard of Gale Sayers.
I've only heard of him because of Madden.
Okay. Travis, what's your best bet for today, side total or prop?
Yeah, and I just want to go on record because someone in the chat said it's offensive that I haven't seen The Godfather. I have seen The Godfather. Spread jumped to conclusions. This is his fault. I saw it.
Everything's my fault, huh?
I saw it in high school. Actually, it was funny. Our teacher, like when I was a senior, basically had us like sign a waiver to watch it in class. So I got to watch it in class. It was kind of cool. So I was like, oh great,
that's cool.
Watch this during school makes it even better. But yeah. I'm trying to pull up the lines on Ayton, so I make sure I get the correct one. Let's see. I'm going here. It's crawling for me. DeAndre Ayton's points. The best line is 19.5. Use the unabated tool, which is a great tool to use. You can get that at PointsBet at -125, or you go to other sites and you can get FanDuel. It's 20.5 at -104. Which if that
I prefer that bet better. If you have access to both, I would pay less juice.
Yeah, I think so. The 20
the injury can screw you up, right? I mean,
agreed. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm fine with going with the 20.5 because that's the line most people can get. And at the -104 on FanDuel seems like the best one. So give me DeAndre Ayton's over on points.
All right, and this is a tough one for me. It's like watching my two kids play each other, right? When Steph and Seth play each other, right? I feel like Sonia Curry, right? I'm swapping spouses with my husband here. It's absolutely terrible, but I'm going to take the Milwaukee Bucks. My original dream team. Title will be proud, even though he's never heard of any of these players or actors either. He'll like this pick because I am taking the Deer District tonight to get it done at home. We talk about fading the Warriors on the road. We're going to go ahead. Talk is cheap. We're putting it in action. We made the bet. I'm absolutely loving it tonight. That's my favorite play on the board. 2 more RPB tags up on the NBA Bets Playbook for members of runpuresports.com. Head over to the bet section, NBA Bets Playbook. Anything with an RPB tag, I've bet. We've run the numbers. The projections have been doing well. Tyler, yesterday they went 2-2, broke our 7-day streak of wins in a row.
That just means we got to right the ship tonight, spread.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to do a great job tonight. Projections have been on fire. So, hey, a lot of fun doing this show, Travis, and we even got a little talking touchdowns there in the middle. We're giving the people some bonus content. You got to give us a thumbs up for that. Appreciate having you on, breaking down the DFS slate. And I know that you have more work to do, right? Because you're not done doing DFS content today, are you?
No, I'm not done. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to go hit the gym, and then I'm going to come back and break this NBA slate down. And we'll be talking on this channel on the Hardwood Show with Hoop and DC, and should be a good time. So be sure to check all that out. And I'll have obviously more takes then too, and probably some more clear ones with some news hopefully coming our way.
Excellent. Yeah, and I can't wait for the Patriots to play the Dolphins so we can send Travis to film school. That's it for us here. Guys,
real quick, before we get out of here, Spread, we get out of here, Tyler, what am I making him watch? Am I making him watch like SpongeBob the movie, like just something awful?
You know I have that movie on DVD, right?
No, I'll get you we'll get something like earlier than that. We'll get something from when like I was like a teenager, like my little
I want him to watch like a kids movie, like maybe like the Scooby-Doo movie or something.
Movies.
Like
I would watch that.
Yeah, that's the only problem too, is his ex had his ex had 3 kids, so he had to watch all the kids movies. Like, so we'll find something for him.
We'll find something else. I want to make you watch something young, like
we're definitely getting you something.
Just make me watch like Superbad or something. One of those comedies.
No, I don't want to make you watch something you want to watch.
I haven't watched any of the Sandler movies.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any Sandler movies.
You're trying to make us watch some like black and white movie.
It's a good movie.
I'm making you watch like I'm making you watch like a good movie. Like I'm gonna struggle to get through that movie. The Dolphins better not let me down.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, there you have it. For everyone, Tyler, listen up. We're at noon tomorrow. We're going to be that way until Christmas, helping out over at UPS. That's what I'll be doing this afternoon. But the great part of it is I'm at home in time to put in a lineup. Travis, check out those core plays on runpuresports.com and then sit down and watch a great evening in NBA basketball. We got 2 good rivalries, right? A new school rivalry, right, for you guys, Bucks Warriors, and one for me, an older guy, Lakers Celtics. Can't wait. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Run Pure.